let's do a nice little camping video
of a migrant camp.
of a migrant camp. This is Jacumba Migrant Camp. It's on the California border.
Uh-huh.
Now, this doesn't look like a lot. We've got some campers, tents, and everything. And isn't that nice? And look at all those new tents. Where are they getting all these new tents from, do you suppose? I don't know, man. Could it be NGOs? I believe. Why, look, those are all Chinese people. Did they walk here from China? Or were they brought over by NGOs?
Well, here's another thing. Here, pause it real quick.
Yeah.
All right. Now, this is just my zombie apocalypse mind working here. And it just literally, I had an epiphany at this very second.
Okay.
We remember Black Lives Matter and Antifa, right?
Yeah.
We did a show where we showed the entire network, how the alphabet agencies have mapped out a lot of the leaders for Antifa, and they have the whole flow chart of insanity for these guys.
Yeah.
All right. Now, this is just my evil pop thinking here. All right. The communication, the cells are in place.
Yeah.
All right. Now, we have a bunch of military-age men coming across the border.
Yes.
What do you think are the chances that we're going to have bad actors infiltrating in, falling in on this infrastructure that's already in place, and then turning it up to the two-way rifle range levels? I literally think that is
I think the chances of bad actors not coming in at this point are actually zero.
Yes.
It's zero. There are definitely bad actors who have already come across. One terrorist at the border self-identified, an Iranian guy. He's like, you guys are going to know me. And sure enough, somebody ran his photo, and turns out he's a wanted terrorist, and now he's just disappeared somewhere into the interior. Here's one of the things that gives us an advantage, though. The sheer size of our country. Now, these bad actors could strike here or strike there, but we're so big as a country that there's no way for them to coordinate an action to get the entire country all at the same time. They might hit a couple of cities all at the same time if they're going to do something like that. This isn't Luxembourg. We're not 700 square miles.
No.
Or Monaco.
And here's another thing.
Like literally 100 miles across.
Historically speaking, if the police force and the alphabet agencies that we have to protect us do not protect us or make any steps to curtail this, there will be a parallel government will be set up when enough people get sick of it. And typically that's usually posse, militia based. It's incredibly brutal. And
it's already happening.
Well, I know
there are already 2 counties in Michigan that have formed parallel governments at this point.
No, I'm just talking about the whole country.
Oh yeah, I understand. I'm saying it's started. It's begun.
I know
exactly what you're saying.
I have no idea why all the counties that surround New York City haven't literally said, fuck the governor. We're done dealing with you. We're tired of being slaves to this major fucking suckhole city. Because listen, New York is mostly red, except for the one little fucking blackhead pimple known as New York City.
Most of the states are. Even California is a majority red.
What I'm saying is when these nut jobs in these cities, pass enough shit where people are getting victimized and hurt, you're literally going to see, insurrection within insurrection.
Yes.
You're going to have blue states where a lot of the counties like we're not participating. Or worse.
Yeah.
All right.
And
now,
the feds with their constant incursions, that's going to wear out too.
Yes.
The locals are finally going to reach a point where they're going to be like, okay, you know what? We're just going to put you in the county jail.
Mm-hmm.
And listen, your friends can come get you, and we're going to put them in the county jail too.
Yeah. And look, a sheriff has more power than agents from an alphabet agency because he's fucking elected.
Yes.
All right. He wasn't appointed or hired, went through the crazy process or whatever they do. And let's in my opinion, I think that will be the only saving grace for the law enforcement community if they take those steps. If they fall in line with all of the other, insanity, well, you get what you get. And it's not a coincidence that the phrase "fuck around and find out" came up about a year ago.
Yeah, that is absolutely not a coincidence at all.
Now, listen, we're not advocating for any violence. I want to see everything worked out peaceably and go back to how the country was 10 years ago.
I just want to be left alone to raise my chickens. It's literally all I want is to be left alone to raise my chickens.
Yeah. Yeah.
You're bothering me. Stop it. So to continue on here, let's push toward the NGO thing. I'm going to kind of ease you in. That camp that we saw, by the way, those pictures of the tents and the fires and all of that stuff, that goes on for miles.
Yep.
That's the part we didn't show you. I wasn't going to make you sit through the whole video, but those camps are going on for miles along our border.
Yep.
And if you've ever been to a big football game or anything like that, and you got that big parking lot like at the old Palace or the Silverdome.
Yeah.
Remember the crowds and crowds of people? Imagine miles of that now.
Yeah, it's insane. Like this is getting out of control here.
Yep.
And it's coming to a head. And
absolutely.
And here's the thing. Like we have Donald Trump running for president. He's a populist guy. Over half the country wants him to be elected, and you have a small minority who are like blocking him at every turn, every option, every possibility that they can. And here's another thing. When the population of this country realizes that they'll never be able to elect somebody they want to see as the leader of this country, you're going to lose. It's going to further erode the confidence we have in the system.
I'm just going to straight up say it. You keep going like this is how you get Adolf.
Yeah.
This is how you end up with a dictator.
Well, first of all, they bankrupt this country. It's going to be absolute mayhem.
Yeah.
It'll be very hard to steer away from the Adolf kind of mindset.
People will get exhausted and tired, and somebody strong will step up, and
that'll be it.
It's, I mean, serious. You can say whatever you want about the guy, but the dude did survive World War I, and he was pretty good at what he did in the beginning. Otherwise, it wouldn't have worked.
No,
point blank, he would have fizzled if he didn't have charisma. It's like any dictator. Stalin's the same thing. Pol Pot's the same thing. Kim Jong-il was actually installed. I know more about that than anything.
Yeah, fuck that guy.
Anyway, let's get back toward closer to this NGO thing. There's a guy on Gab named Joey Camp who is a J6 refugee. This guy fled to South America and is currently somewhere around Belize or something like that. He's never very specific, and I don't blame him.
Can we get him on the show? Maybe?
I tried to reach out to him. He didn't respond in time, but I will try to get out to him. What he's been doing is following these migrant caravans. And tracking their movements and in everything. And he says, this one here, between the Red Cross and Doctors Without Borders, migrants from the Darien Gap have provided nearly 100% safe passage. The map of the medical facilities along the route is incorporated by the Red Cross in their handbill at the Darien Gap. Now, Pop, you had some experience in Panama, and I believe you went to jungle school, right?
Went to jungle warfare school
Tell
twice.
us a little bit about the terrain there.
Well, the minute you go into the jungle, you are fucked. It's small hills. Everything has black palm on it. It gets dark, it's darker than 3 feet up a well digger's ass by 4 or 5 o'clock in the afternoon. You're getting chewed up by mosquitoes, diseases everywhere. I was given rabies shots because of vampire bats have rabies, and you're walking around the jungle doing, jungly kind of stuff. You're going to get exposed to that.
And if I'm not mistaken, you had an M16 stolen by a spider monkey.
That was an experience. That was not mine. It was another soldier. They grabbed his car 15 and took it up a tree, and then he got it back like 40 minutes later, but it took a while.
So that there is the experience of a freaking United States Army Ranger. The Darien Gap is the border between Colombia and Panama, and it has been known for 100 years as one of the most dangerous places on Earth. It's the one place where the international highway, you can drive from Alaska to the tip of Peru, except for the Darien Gap, which is 160 kilometers wide. and it's almost impassable, except now it's not, because here we start with the NGOs.
Mm-hmm.
Doctors Without Borders and the Red Cross are both down there providing maps like the one you see here. Those red boxes, those call out boxes there, those are all the medical points they have for all of these
Yep.
ZIMs that are coming across. We're just going to call them ZIMs.
Yeah, and all of these medical points are financed by our tax dollars and donations from the Bleeding Hearts.
I did a little bit of digging and still know a few people here and there and confirmed a thing or two. And it may or may not be possible or plausible that our own U.S. State Department is actually down there, Overwatch, and providing the funds for this.
Well,
in theory, that's a possibility.
I would say it's a very high possibility, especially when the people at the top want to bankrupt this country.
Yep.
This
and it would not surprise me.
I mean, this is literally an insurrection.
Yes.
The main weapon they're using now is just human bodies flooding across the border.
We discussed that with the population bomb.
No, yeah, we did.
Which our population is fine. It's perfectly stable. It's going exactly the way that it should. The reason our population looks like it's receding is because of this flood that we've got going on here. Now, on to the next map. Albergues para personas en movilidad de México y Centroamérica. These are all of the routes for the ZIMs to travel along. And the Red Cross and Doctors Without Borders and a couple of other agencies have made all of this perfectly available. In the upper left-hand corner there, you can see there's a phone number to call and an international phone number to call. Tells you how to get to every place, and it shows you where to enter the United States along the border safely.
Safely. What about the unsafe areas? Because
the cartels are trafficking those people.
Well, I know. They're finding dead individuals in Arizona, New Mexico, and Texas all the time.
All over the place. I can't imagine how many bodies are on the Mexico side.
Oh, my God.
Oh, boy.
Can't even begin to imagine how many bodies are along the
Well, first of all, you have the Mexican cartels, the South American cartels. You have alphabet agencies probably helping these dudes out to do what they're doing. And this is just one hell of a clusterfuck nightmare. You want to talk about getting, fucked in the end of your dick hole. I mean, this is exactly what's happening. This is bad.
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah, this is incredibly bad. Some of our audience will probably know this, but the average person won't. One of the particularly nasty things that happened with the Mexican cartels some years ago is I think it was full battalions of crack Mexican special forces guys went, cartels are better money, and defected wholesale.
Yep.
2 battalions of special forces guys joined the cartels right out of the Mexican army, took all of their gear and equipment with them and everything. That's what's roaming that border there.
Yeah. And listen, if this thing goes kinetic, it's just a matter of time before it spills over into the country of Mexico.
Yeah.
All right. Absolutely. We're droning people all the time in Northern Africa. Yeah. They're going to do the same thing to like these cartel individuals down in Mexico. I hope that doesn't happen. I hope we can get a hand on this. But if not, it's going to get kinetic.
Yes, absolutely. Absolutely. There's already been some kinetic activity down there. There was a shootout the other day with a Border Patrol guy and a cartel member. They had a flat out Western style shootout there. But this is a picture of the Darien Gap here. This is a pretty nice picture meant to tell you about the Darien rainforest and how it's a nature preserve, and it's 17,000 square kilometers.
Wow.
And it is supposed to be almost impossible to cross. But now, thanks to our friends at the Red Cross and Doctors Without Borders and our own State Department, more or less, maybe possibly, hypothetically speaking.
But I mean, we're literally having our compassion hijacked and used against us by the forces of darkness.
That's exactly what it is. And here Joey Camp actually specifies it's Red Cross, Doctors Without Borders, United Nations, UNICEF, and several others. This is Joey talking. We are almost done with my footage after trekking through 6 nights in the Darien Gap. Imagine crossing that thing in that night.
Oh my God.
Holy ass.
Dude, I could we had to walk 600 meters through the jungle at night just to get to a road.
I spent a couple.
Took us 4 fucking hours.
I just spent a couple of days doing a freaking lerp in the South Pacific, and that jungle was.
Yeah, it kicks your ass.
Yeah. Dude, everybody's the tigers. It's little things. It's little fucking bugs. The bugs, man. Yeah. Never get out of the boat. So Joey spent 6 nights in the Darien Gap, 7 nights in the Panama immigrations camp, and through Panama into Costa Rica, where we ended our journey and spent a few months recovering. That shit was hell. Once a week, 53, get this. Once a week, 53 plus bus loads of migrants who pass through the Darien Gap are transported from southern Panama. You think these people are walking? They're not walking.
No.
To the southern Costa Rica border, where a state of emergency is still in effect, and they're transported there by the NGOs that he specifies at the bottom. The NGOs in Costa Rica then pick them up at their border and transport them to Nicaragua, with the same process going north into Honduras. Then from Honduras, they're transported by more NGOs to the border in Guatemala, where they are again transported to the border with Mexico by NGOs. The only parts of the trip to North America that are walked are some short segments in Mexico and the Darien Gap into Panama, because there are no roads at all through the Darien Gap. In Mexico, they are provided NGO support in at least 20 cities along their trek to the United States and are offered transportation between many of them free of charge. It's not free of charge. You and me, you were paying for it.
Yeah.
We're paying for this.
Yes.
And we're going to get to that in a minute, too. In border-to-border run is escorted by multiple police officers and or immigrations and customs. They're funneling these people, and where are they getting the money? Did you see what passed the other day in Congress?
Yeah.
2.8 billion of your tax dollars specifically to NGOs.
Yep.
$2.8 billion of your tax. You're paying for the privilege of killing yourself.
Or we're okay, there's 2 angles to the money thing. One, they're flat out just, using our tax dollars to support this shit. But you have to also take into consideration, you have BlackRock, you have other major, financial institutions who are using your retirement money and funds as a weapon against you. Because I don't know how this happened, but a lot of these funds no longer are in the United States. We have people managing our fucking money who aren't even in this fucking country. Are you out of your goddamn minds? Holy shit, that's some scary shit.
Yeah,
right there.
absolutely. I worked in the banking industry a year ago. I had a job in the banking industry when it took that hit where a whole bunch of banks collapsed. I lost my job along with a third of the company. But I can tell you right now that he's absolutely correct. All of your money is offshore. None of your money is here. If you have investments, it's not here anymore. They might have channels for it where you can get to it here and there, but it's not here anymore.
Yeah, that needs to be corrected, because they're literally weaponizing your savings against you.
Yep. It's literally the South Park skit. Okay, we're gonna go ahead and put your $20 in this 401k plan, and then we're gonna transfer over here, and it's gone.
Yep.
Yeah, that's literally what it is.
Yeah, it's exactly what's going on. So on the issue of the NGOs, we push a little further, and this is Human Rights Watch. And they're a big organization that likes to make sure that people are safe in war-torn areas.
Correct.
How the treacherous Darien Gap became a migration crossroads of the Americas. Look how these people are kitted out. They even know to put orange on them so they can see each other. And then these are clearly military guys on the canoe here.
Mm-hmm.
Ferrying them across the waterways and through the jungles and everything, from the tundra abutting the Arctic Ocean in Prudhoe Bay, Alaska, to Tierra del Fuego off the southern tip of the South American mainland. The Pan-American Highway allows a driver to cover almost the length of the Americas on a single road. The stretch of asphalt is broken in only one place, the roughly 60-mile Darien Gap. The highway was never completed through the approximately 10,000 square mile tropical jungle and a significant portion of Panama's southern province. No road runs through it at all, nor are there bridges, cell phone service, or other infrastructures. For all it lacks, the Darien Gap has in recent years become a major transit route for irregular migration. I'd call it pretty regular. We're talking in the millions.
Yeah, this is not like a onesie twosie thing. This is literally a conga line of death.
It is the conga line of death.
Yeah.
The Darien Gap has become the primary passageway. Movement in and through the Darien Gap is not entirely new. Panamanian authorities have been tracking some migrant arrivals since 2010, which is when the UN population replacement program started really kicking in. Europe was being flooded at that time. I remember talking about it, saying it's coming here. People were like, no, it couldn't. How would they get here? Well, now you know.
Well, first of all, it's only going to get worse.
Yes.
Because the infrastructure is in place and they're going to improve upon this, and it's going to be just a huge fucking shitstorm.
Yeah.
Wow.
So until 2021, the numbers of people crossing the jungle were relatively inconsequential in comparison with other migratory pathways in the Americas. People don't just spontaneously migrate. Pop and I have both talked about this numerous times. Most people in most countries, and even Americans up until the 70s and 80s, when we got the whole move away from home bug, most people never leave basically a 10-mile radius, except maybe once or twice in their life to go to an event of some sort.
I thought that was 50 miles. Because I know back in the 1800s, it was like 5 miles.
It's about a 10-mile radius for most people in countries that don't have the transportation options that we have.
Yeah. Okay, you're right. Yeah.
And they'll make a journey of, like Muslims will do the Hajj.
Like once or twice
in their life. Where they go to Mecca.
Yeah.
They have to do that like once in their life.
Yeah.
Or other groups will go to, I know there are pilgrimages in India where they go to temples or shrines or whatever it is. I don't know much about India at all, to be honest.
I don't care.
Yeah. But I know that much.
Yeah.
At any rate, people don't just get up and go, hey, let's walk to America. It'll be fun. It'll be neat.
Well, one, they know if they successfully get here, they're going to get a boatload of money.
They're told. That's what makes them move.
Yeah. And, these people they're coming from poor countries where they make maybe, $200 a month.
Yeah.
And all of a sudden they're like, well, we're going to give you 5 or 6 times that for free every single month. And of course people are like, oh, I get to get 5 to 10 times the amount of money I make in a month and I don't have to do shit.
5 to 10 times. Okay. The average Chinese, North Korean, Vietnamese, Laotian, and a couple of other countries, we did a study on this with Civil Affairs. Their average income is anywhere between $12 and $20 a month.
Wow. Yeah.
And now you're going to get thousands of dollars.
It's a financial incentive.
They think they're going to be rich when they come to America and have that kind of money. They don't understand that $1,000 in America now is like 50.
Yeah.
Yep. They don't get that. They think they're going to get $1,000 in their country equivalent, where they would be phenomenally, mind-blowingly wealthy.
Yes.
That, and if another thing that I'm seeing is a lot of these people that are ending up in like New York City or Chicago or any of these cold cities in the wintertime, because it gets cold in the winter times up here in America. Shocker. They're bitching about, the weather's colder than hell up here. That I was lied to. Like, okay, good. Strap on your Lamborghinis and walk your happy ass out of here.
Lamborghinis.
Get out of here.
I like that.
I'm gonna write that one down, bro.
That's a good one.
Yeah.
So over 500,000 came through that gap just last year. This article is from last year.
Yeah.
Other notable trends in the Darien Gap movement have been people from outside the Western Hemisphere, particularly Central and West Africa, the Middle East, and South Asia, who first traveled to South America and then used the Darien Gap to reach the United States or Canada.
That's fucking nuts, man.
Been to Africa. They don't go anywhere.
No.
Particularly Africa, they don't go anywhere. Unless it's like Algiers, which was a French colony, or Morocco, which has pretty heavy trade with Europe.
Well, I know that the African countries who were never colonized have absolutely zero to very, very limited infrastructure.
Yes.
The countries that were colonized have roads and all kinds of shit.
Yeah.
Yeah. I mean, this is serious business. And if you think this is not going to affect you in the very near future, you are smoking some shit that I
It's already
need.
happening here in Detroit.
I'm just saying, I know it's going to be really bad. Please send me an email to where I can get whatever you guys are smoking to deny this is going to be a problem in the future, because I need that, because my ASP is telling me this is going to get really, really bad.
Just call up Hunter Biden if you want some really good stuff. He'll get you hooked up, Hop.
There you go.
Watch Grunt Speak live every Tuesday and Thursday at 8 p.m. Eastern. And if you want to join Pop for Supporter Sundays, go to redonkulous.com/donate and make a monthly pledge. A link is in the Meat Gazer box.